Hi, it's Mike Pangia, and today we are going to discuss selecting a ripe melon, specifically a cantaloupe or a honeydew melon. Now, chances are any of these that you find in your supermarket will not be ripe. And the reason is a commercial reason having to do with the shipping of fruit. Shippers know that shipping ripe fruit is dangerous because it's easily damaged, dented, and basically ruined for commercial purposes. So fruits are picked green and hard and are shipped that way to protect them. Problem is, when you get them in the supermarket, they're still green and hard and really not worth eating. So my mission today is to help you get your ripe cantaloupes and honeydews. You can't tell when they're ripe visually. That's the problem. So you have to use your sense of touch. But I've got good news. My method is 100% reliable, foolproof, not subjective at all. If you've ever had the situation where someone had spilled something sticky on a tabletop or a desktop and then cleaned it up, but didn't clean it up too perfectly, and when you touched that surface later, there was a little bit of stickiness, a little bit of tackiness left on the surface. Did you ever feel that? Think about it. That's exactly the feeling I want you to remember when you're gliding your hand over the top of a honeydew melon. You feel that little bit of stickiness, and what it actually is the sweetness and the sugar in the melon, now that it's ripening, starting to seep through the skin. So you get that little bit of stickiness to it. Great thing. When you feel that, you can cut it open. It'll be sweet, juicy, and delicious. Cantaloupes have a little different situation to monitor. The end where the stem was, where it grew, it's like the belly button of the fruit, is not where you want to look. You want to go to the opposite end where the flower grew, and you'll see there's another little navel there. It's not recessed like the belly button end, but it's a circular mark that you can distinguish. Now you take your two thumbs and you press it. If it yields a little bit, that sucker is ripe, juicy, delicious, and ready to eat. Now I have two melons that I bought 2 days ago, and they, like the melons I've been talking about from the supermarket, are hard like rocks. So I'll be back every couple of days to check on them, and when they're ready, I'll let you know. We'll cut them, take a look, and enjoy them. Let's establish a benchmark. First, I'll take the honeydew melon, run my hand over it, and it feels more like a bowling ball than a fruit I want to eat. Now for the cantaloupe. Here's the spot I was talking about checking, and what I'll do is press in on it, and I'm pressing pretty hard, and it doesn't yield a bit, so it's not ready. Okay, well, it's been 8 days since I bought these two melons, and I have to give a bit of a disclaimer now. We're waiting for them to ripen on their own, off the vines, off the plants that they grew on, and hopefully we'll have some success at that. But I have to warn you that occasionally a fruit that you're trying to ripen just with the passage of time does not ripen and rots instead. This is true of any fruit. It's not just the melons. But we're hopeful, and we're going along hoping that these will develop. Meanwhile, the honeydew has not made any progress at all. It still feels pretty much as it felt when it was purchased. The cantaloupe, however, has shown real progress, and I have been able to detect a little bit of yielding on that soft spot that we talked about. I'm pressing in. I hope you can pick up the fact that that is moving. It is a little bit soft. So we're ready to cut this cantaloupe and see what happens. Scoop out the seeds. Cut it in slices. And cut off the skin. There you have it. I wish you could taste it. It's juicy, sweet, and delicious. Well, here it is. It's got that slightly tacky feeling to the surface, which is what I was looking for. But it did take 37 days to get here from the time it was purchased. Now, there's an explanation for that. Normally, I don't have to wait 37 days to eat my honeydew. But the difference is how I select it. When I'm out there personally shopping, I'm feeling the whole display. And I don't buy it unless I find one that has a little bit of texture to it. Now, Pee-wee, my pet duck, is squeaking away over there. He's playing with his squeeze toy, which squeaks when he pecks it. What should I do? Should I put him outside in the yard? I think that'll be the best solution. Okay, I've left his cage door open, so I think he'll be content. He feels like he can have independence and he can get out whenever he wants to. So he'll behave as long as I'm in the same room. You can hear him panting in the background, and that's the sound that Muscovy ducks make. They don't quack, they just they puff like that, and you can hear it in the background. At any rate, let's get back to our honeydew melon. As I said, it took 37 days for it to get to this point. And Pee-wee, hold it down, please. And that's a long time. I usually don't have to wait that long. But the reason is I did my own... I think I better put him outside. Okay, we'll try again. He calmed down when I went over there by his cage. So I think we can continue. As I was saying, normally when I do my own shopping, I run my hand over the whole display of honeydews and see if I can't find one with a little bit of texture. It doesn't necessarily have to have the stickiness. If it does, I'll buy that one immediately. But as long as it has a little texture, imagine running your hand over a piece of typing paper, white bond paper. That little bit of coarseness of the paper is what I'm looking for. And I'll pick that one so I won't have to wait 37 days for it to ripen. Now, how did this happen? This happened because I use shoppers. I have a lot of the underlying conditions that make me especially vulnerable to the COVID-19 virus. And I use external shoppers. God bless them. They're great. I love them. I'm so happy that they'll do this for me. But I can't really expect them to do the fruit and vegetable produce selection that I do myself when I'm in the market. So when I asked for this honeydew melon, I got this one, and it took 37 days to get it to the point where it's edible. It's not a criticism of my shoppers. I love them. I'm so pleased that they're there. Let's get going and see what's inside this beautiful melon. Let's go for it and see what we've got here. First, I like to cut it in half down the center, which you can see where the stem is, and that's the center. Next step is to scoop out the seeds. Next, we're going to slice it. I see a little browning up here at the stem end. I'm going to cut that out so I don't get it in my serving pieces. Now we slice it. I suppose there are a lot of different ways to slice it. This is the method I favor. Next step is to skin the individual pieces. I use the smaller knife and cut along the rind. And I have my serving pieces. This is how I like to serve honeydew, chilled and in chunks. For a little more interest and color, you might consider sprinkling a few maraschino cherries in the mix. I hope you're able to use these ideas to enjoy your melons, your cantaloupes, and your honeydews in the future. But now I want to get a little more serious. I believe you have a moral, ethical, and possibly legal implied contractual obligation to share this information with others you know who may either eat fruit or buy fruit. I think it's a requirement, an ethical requirement, that you share this video with them. So please do so before we go any further. The other thing I'd like to address is the subscribe notion. It seems to me that the statistics I get from YouTube say that about 80% of the viewers of my videos are not subscribed. Now, you're always welcome. You're always welcome here, whether you subscribe or not. But think about it. It's a bit like being a freeloader. You come in, you get the information, you're happy, you watch it, you use it, and you don't give me that positive feedback by subscribing or even hitting the like button, the thumbs up. What does it cost you? Please do it if you like it. Now, I don't want you to lie. If you don't like it, go away. You don't have to come back. I'm not mad. You don't have to do a like. But if you do like it, what's holding you back? Hit the like button. Okay, I'm done with my speechifying. Now, as I always say, and it's always true, thank you so much for watching and your continued interest, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.